Cliffe Knechtle explains on a podcast what hell is really like and what Jesus says about hell. Enjoy.
You bet. All right, first point is be very careful about people who give you a photograph of hell. The Bible does not give us a photograph of hell.
It's not a burning place?
Well, Jesus talks about it as fire.
Yeah.
But it also talks about outer darkness. So how do you have fire and outer darkness at the same time? I think he's speaking metaphorically. Oh, Cliff, you're just quibbling. Oh, you're just getting out of a difficult place. Wait a second. Jesus uses metaphor all the time. It's symbolic language to make a point, to speak truth. I am the light of the world. No, Jesus is not claiming to be a 100-watt light bulb. I am the door. No, he's not claiming to be two pieces of plywood slapped together. He continuously uses metaphor to point to truth, but it's truth that is not quite as physical as I would like it to be. And I think that's part of what hell will be. Hell is separation from God. I've chose to live my life separate from him, and he says, fine, Cliff, you chose to live your life separate from me, you'll spend eternity separate from me.
So just floating out in the universe. How they always say the universe is really big. Are they just floating in darkness?
Or as you pointed out, they might be annihilated.
Is annihilated mean gone?
Gone. Destroyed.
That's merciful, though.
Destroyed.
That like, even though, okay, for example, I'd never want to raise my hand and be, hey man, that guy molested some kids.
Yep.
He needs to burn in hell for the rest of his life.
Right.
A lot of people are not wise enough to understand that he probably molested somebody because he was molested. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of demons on him.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to judge him.
Right.
But I know that if I was God, blasphemy if it sounds, you could point out any evil man in the world. I don't know if I could torture endlessly forever and ever and ever. If I know my God's more merciful than me, that's a hard pill to swallow.
Correct.
But my question is, how is it, regardless if it's endless time away from him or gnashing of the teeth in a fire forever and always, how is a man first submit to a God that knows that Sarah, who's helping homeless people right now, dedicating her life, giving half of her money away, is in the same spot that Hitler and Genghis Khan is going? To me, it's hard for me to explain that to somebody.
Right. And that's why I would not say same spot. Because I don't think hell is a spot. It's separation from God, but it's not a physical location necessarily. See, the Bible's sufficiently vague about it that I really don't know. And that's, we got to be honest. It doesn't specifically picture it graphically. And I think that guys like Dante have at times done a disservice in adding to the Bible. I take the Bible very seriously, so seriously that I don't want to add to it.
You shouldn't.
Exactly.
Because your word is human.
Correct. So don't trust me, trust Christ, and read the Bible fairly. And I think if you read the Bible fairly, you'll realize it does not give us a physical description of hell. Oh, come on, it talks about fire, but it also talks about outer darkness.
The fire part, what do they, how could you elaborate what it means?
You bet.
Thank you.
Well, when Jesus says, I'm the light of the world, when Jesus says to the woman in John chapter 4, I offer you living water, she misunderstands him. She thinks, oh wow, give me this water. I'm not going to have to go back to the well again. No, he's not talking about physical water, ma'am. He's talking about a relationship with himself. So he's using metaphor, symbolism to communicate spiritual reality.
Yes.
When he says to Nicodemus, you must be born again. When he says to Nicodemus, you must be born again.
Yeah.
Nicodemus misunderstands him and says, oh right, I'm supposed to climb back into my mother's womb and come down the birth canal again? And Jesus says, no, Nicodemus. I'm talking about a spiritual rebirth, not a physical rebirth. All right, so when Jesus talks about hell and uses different images that seem to contradict each other, like fire and outer darkness, we've got to be real careful the way we interpret that, because it's not as clear as some people think it is.
What is it actually stated as? What is it like in the scripture? How do they describe it? Because you said outer darkness and hell
and
the
fire, right?
So is the fire described as internal fire, or what is the fire?
It's not specifically defined. But you started us off in this session with Matthew 7, 21 to 23. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. I will tell some of these people, depart from me, you who practice lawlessness. Depart from me. So there's the idea of hell is departure from God. Total departure.
But that is
totally
hell.
Separate. Oh yeah, there's hell. That's hell.
That's hell.
Correct.
To be away from life.
Exactly.
Is hell.
Correct.